Again, we are going to have a different map pool for this one. Again, being the finals, it will
Mhm.
start off on Busan versus Lijiang Tower, which we've had before. And again, Busan is I definitely feel it's a different type of environment, especially since the first map that we're going on is going to be mecha base.
Yeah, mecha base for sure might show us a little bit of a difference here. But I'm really curious as we go into team preview that we're seeing like this play once again with that Reinhardt and that Orisa. I think that's a strategy that works out really well on mecha base because of how close quarters the fights are. But if you missed it at the top of the broadcast, one of the things that this composition does really well for like this player is they get a chance to just go in and cleave damage with that Reinhardt, so that Reinhardt's able to swing away and they can just walk through shields. But Team CC is not running any shields. They have a Diva and they have a Winston. So this might be a little bit more of a difficult fight for like this player. Winston, Gaga, Team CC gonna have to be very careful against this Reaper from V's.
And I like the fact that we do see the Diva Winston play coming out from Team CC. We saw more of that Zarya Winston, but in this case, a heavy dive comp to really compete against like this player is going to be an opportunity. You've got Innovation in the back causing a lot of harass already at 55% to that EMP, a significant amount already generated. Snorlax, though, from LTP, trying to get a decent amount of control onto this Winston play up front, hoping to lock down that mobility to try and get an early pick. Dia in the back, though, causing a lot of harass with Gaga. A nice capitalization from Team CC to make like this player have to fully just jump off the end and regroup.
They're going to have to regroup here. I think that this is where we see a bit of a difference in the composition. I think that like this player might run. No, actually, they just gave up all of Mino's charge. That's really unfortunate. Reinhardt was pretty close to getting that Earth Shatter. They might have been able to have it in this fight, and now all they have is the Coalescence, where Innovation's coming in with that EMP, and there's not really a whole lot to be able to save them from that. Mizuki does not have that sound barrier yet.
And Innovation in the back with the EMP allows so much follow through from Team CC. Like this player is unable to reform from that type of engagement. And with 40%, Team CC's in a good place to potentially bring this to last fight territory.
The shoe's on the other foot now, though, because like this player is going to have the Death Blossom, they're also going to have the Blizzard. So 1987 for Team CC really has their choice of how to use this Transcendence. Are they going to use it for the Death Blossom or this Blizzard? I have a feeling this Blizzard's going to be a bit more of an issue. We'll see if Sia can actually eat it first before this Transcendence comes out.
And it's going to be serious timing to eat that. We've seen it happen already with a Sigma play eating a Blizzard, so let's see if the Diva can do the same. You've got Blue Moon in the back, extremely low. Dia gets the pickup. This is a difficult position to be in. You've got the Blizzard to use, but it's not really too sure if it's the best decision to try and use it, as Gaga is just destroying in positioning on like this player, and Team CC really exerting some serious dominance over like this player.
Not even afraid of the Reaper. Did you see that 1v1 Gaga was taking against V's? That was such a difficult fight. Gaga danced around that bubble beautifully. And now Innovation has another bomb.
Oh, manages to actually get Snorlax just around the pillar. What a great usage of that bomb. With the pulse bomb available from Dia, hoping to try and use it here on that back line as the Coalescence comes out from Blue Moon to survive as best as possible into this overtime. The sound barrier going to be committed as well by Mizuki. There's just too much aggression in the back line from Dia, along with Gaga working in tandem. The Death Blossom going to come up short, and that's 100-0 here for Team CC in this first map of Mecha Base.
Death Blossom's not usually an ultimate that's going to find a whole lot of value, especially when you are using it against a team that has such high mobility that Team CC is running. So I think that that's okay that we didn't get a chance to see the Death Blossom pop off as much as it did. But now that we're going to a little bit more of verticality on downtown, we are going to see like this player switch things up a little bit where they really want to take control of the high ground. But I just don't think Team C is going to let them have it.
I just keep thinking of that song. Downtown players will beat Team CC now. And I'm sorry, I'm having my musical moment, but as I know, right? And actually, that's okay. We just found out that my singing causes pauses in the game. So that's apparently what happens. They're just like, nah,
That's
nah, Rad, you got to stop singing. That's what just happened. So yes, it looks like we're going to go into a brief pause before entering into that downtown. But just to kind of talk a little bit here about what we were at least seeing as the doors were opening, we had LTP with V's going on to this 76, which we did see to great use prior between these two teams, or correction, between LTP and Cosmos earlier. And the
Mhm.
one thing I think that's going to be really important is how the positioning is for V's on the 76 to compete against this really heavy dive that Team
Yeah.
CC is actually working very well with, because we've really seen a lot more of the Zarya Winston, and now with the Diva Winston, it's even more potent.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Winston and Diva are kind of the signature of a dive composition is because of how well they're able to use their mobility together in order to just chunk down targets. And something else that I think is really impactful is the defense matrix, the way that Sia uses the defense matrix in order to peel as well as just to kind of help out Gaga on the front lines, I think is a huge difference maker. And I'm really excited to see Sia back on this Diva.
And now with the Diva going to be trying to give some coverage for Gaga. It's not going to prevail. Minnow managing to get an early advantage. So now, like this player, wanting to rotate with a timely manner to hopefully collapse onto Team CC, but Gaga's back online to hopefully get back in this fight, even though Dia's got the Discord orb on that Tracer play. Early positional advantage from like this player on the point. You've got Gaga jumping in to try and give some assistance to the team, but I would not be surprised if like this player manages to strip this away from Team CC and will with quite an easy trade.
Yeah, trades going back and forth, but the trade's really favoring like this player, and this is a great opportunity for them to take control of the high ground and then also make it very difficult for Team CC to execute the dives. Really expect that one of the reasons why they're playing this Soldier is actually for the healing pod, because look at how Soldier, Brigitte and Zenyatta are playing together. It just makes the dive a lot harder to execute, knowing that you have so much sustained healing on your targets that you're trying to connect with.
Hopefully there can be enough sustained healing when that tactical visor does come out by V's. You have it leading into this. Dia already takes down Blue Moon, though, with 1987 forcing out the Transcendence on this dive, giving so much room. An EMP tries to counter both teams, actually. Team CC getting hit slightly harder from like this player with that EMP, but now despite the early advantage that you had like this player gaining, Team CC was able to respond more effectively to this and counter that EMP usage.
Usually in some of those instances, like if you EMP last, you get a chance to win the fight. And that's kind of what happened with Innovation, getting a chance to just hit a couple more targets with that EMP. Ooh, and Dia, once again with the backline kill with the Pulse Bomb. That's just another reset that like this player is going to have to take. Good thing for like this player though, they did get 55% of the capture point, so they are able to come in with a couple of tries, and they have a lot of ways to be able to do that. I'm looking at Bins with this Diva Bomb to see if they're going to use it to create space or just try to get rock kills.
At this point, I think it's going to be raw kills with how this narrow corridor is. Bin's going to toss it in the back. Maybe going to get some, but no, the rally is there to actually survive through the explosion radius. V's going to force out the tactical visor to hopefully try and get some damage onto not only that frontline Diva, but the backline supports if they are in sightlines. Dia actually going to almost get the pick onto V's in the back, trying to survive with the healing and the brig close by. Like this player, even though the Transcendence is up, that EMP is going to land on a multiple members from Innovation. And as we continue to see this position from Dia, there is just so much mobility again with that Tracer play and just withstanding a lot of this coverage. There is a great cleanup again by CC and reaching this final fight territory.
Reaching that final fight territory, we just saw moments before Dia utilized this Pulse Bomb, just building it up so quickly. And look at the flank that they're trying to take, just to see if they can get another one down. If they can get Mizuki, maybe get Blue Moon, that's going to be a fantastic target to reset like this player and really force it into last fight territory. But Team CC wants to shut them down now.
Oh, definitely. They want to get this over with to move into the next map. You've got Snorlax trying to get a hack on the Diva. Doesn't manage to do so. Pulse bomb by Dia with double again. Triple wants the quad. Looking to pump out so much damage. There it is with the D-Mech as well. Dia right now on fire for Team CC, not allowing anyone from like this player to stick around. And that is going to be Busan claimed by Team CC. Hello and welcome back, friends. Told you it'd be a quick break because we're going to now bring you the map of Hanamura. So, Hanamura, beautiful map, great place. lot of good food, as you can see from the lovely cams that we're going to have here
Oh, it's
inside of the
making me
cafe.
so hungry.
I know, but I'm going to be honest. I have no idea how the currency works, so I really don't know if that's expensive or not. But as we get onto this map, we're going to see Team CC on the attack first with like this player on the defense, and we've got Snorlax on a Pharah. Let's talk about this.
Again, with the Pharah, I think that this is going to be a very interesting position for this Pharah to be in. The skybox isn't particularly high, and Winston and D.Va have a lot of reach on this map, so I just don't know how Snorlax is really going to be able to get through this, especially with the low amount of healing that's coming out from Blue Moon and Mizuki, respectively, on that Zenyatta and the Brigitte. So I'm just a little concerned about how Snorlax is going to do this one.
Well, hopefully Snorlax can find some value. The dive is already in, as you've got innovations in the side room trying to get a hack onto the Winston to prevent that leap away from Minnow. But you've got Snorlax again trying to peek this corner here, finding some rockets through this window as well. But the Discord Orb instantly going to be placed onto Snorlax, getting deleted by Dia. And again, that's that difficulty with the Discord Orb going to be immediately placed onto a Pharah character. You've got this rotation now from Team CC looking to flank with Dia in the back again, completely uncontested, which is being, I think, the biggest problem still outside of just the aggression from both the Winston and the D.Va play by Sia and Gaga. And there it is. It will be a quick claim here on this point as the last few members from Like This Player brought down.
Here's something else that's been really difficult for Like This Player is that, like, unfortunately for Mizuki, the fact that she's getting focused is a really big problem for the team. You have, like, Brigitte's not doing healing and is not doing damage if you're holding your shield. And one of the ways that Dia is really going into the backline and harassing this character is by forcing out the shield bash, blinking away, and then just continuing to harass the shield. That means Mizuki's not healing, and the orbs of healing are just not enough.
No, they really aren't, and you're going to have innovation now on the high ground, getting a great engage here. But unfortunately, there is a great response from Like This Player. You've got a quick takedown on multiple members after the EMP was used. I think this was a little bit too aggressive by Team CC. They found the short end of the stick there, and now you're going to have Like This Player start to change the momentum and have so many ultimates too.
Absolutely. This is where, like, this player really gets a chance to kind of just change the pace of the match, especially with locking down the momentum that Team CC had generated. Team CC was hoping to take that fight there with the EMP, and just unfortunately, as you said, just got the short end of the stick. Dia, though, taking another look, seeing if they could find some more targets, but Snorlax.
I mean, Snorlax at this point was getting a lot of coverage here, and the fact that there is some great coverage for Snorlax, it's allowing that rocket damage to be very significant in these fights. You've got now that innovation play from Sombra on the low ground is going to have to force the translocate, getting out of this fight. Bin's going to clean up, and once again, 5 ultimates here, stacked for Like This Player, and has a lot to work with running this clock.
A lot to work with, absolutely. And that's kind of what Team CC is playing for right now is really going to be, again, kind of these bomb combos with the EMP. Innovation just used the EMP just a fight before and is already 60% towards another one. But just because of the significant defender's advantage that Hanamura really offers to the point B, the defenders, you just got to be really careful in terms of just getting these kills and really securing it quickly.
And again, you can see the ooh, there's the pulse bomb actually trying to secure a pick in the back. Self-destruct by Sia from Team CC, managing to take down Bins as the Transcendence is going to be committed to this as well. Sia getting a double in total. V's are having a real tough time, though, trying to peek this corner to shut down that type of outgoing damage as Blue Moon forces out the Transcendence, just making sure that there is some sustainability with now the rally coming out from Mizuki. Like This Player in a difficult position, both ultimates having to be expended from the supports with that innovation EMP, trying to get every fight advantage. But there's still some distance from Snorlax needing to be taken down, does get picked off here, while Dia pulse bombs the shield, just whiffs before the shield itself. And at this point now you've got a decent amount claimed, 1 tick already, looking for the second, and Like This Player is in a difficult spot.
I just don't know if they know what to do against the composition that Team CC is running, because the Pharah didn't work, and it's, you know, trying to get as much value as it can, but those trades are coming through with the barrage.
Finally able to get some ground here. It's going to be Like This Player will even the score in kills. Team CC has to fall back, but Team CC managed to gain 52%, which is still critical to their advancement.
And Innovation's already 50% to another EMP. It's gonna be a tough one, I think, for like this player to hold on to it. And Mino even going back over to the Winston now, just showing us the real flexibility in their hero pool, but also recognizing that this Winston's gonna be really important in order to actually pair with Bins on this Diva. Let's see what V's able to do with this Pulse Bomb.
Hopefully V's can find some worthy kills with it to reduce this clock. V's unfortunately not going to find value. You saw it expended, but nobody being brought down. Decent amount of health reduced at least. But now on this high ground, Innovation with the EMP has been generated. Looking for a chance to get multiple members in the backside on the bridgeway, finding 2 specifically at least, getting the DMAC here onto Bins. Overrun now with that Tesla cannon damage from Gaga and Sia close behind. You have so much disorientation from like this player at the moment that you are going to have Team CC complete this if there is no coordination coming out from this respawn. You've got Dia on this Ashe play now, prepped and ready for any member to come out from like this player. The self-destruct on the point. Shield is going to be active. There is a nice whip shot to force back and keep Snorlax at bay as Dia gets the shot to take down the final member of like this player.
Every single time like this player ended up hitting a point, Team CC understood how to just completely stop them from doing anything. So like it was impossible for like this player to actually get their bearings and kind of come back to the point as a whole team, because you would notice that like Super Rich on the Brigitte would actually like stun with the shield bash as soon as like V's touched the point with the Doomfist. It was really kind of spectacular to watch. It's fun watching a high level Brigitte player actually, you know, help out the team.
Oh, definitely.
So interestingly, I feel as though like this player just like, again, didn't really know what to do in terms of their game plan once Team CC started getting control of the point. And I really wonder whether or not the double shield would be more helpful in this situation, because they would be able to play together more as a team rather than having to take 1v1s against Team CC.
I feel like it's a person walking into a wasp's nest, and once you're overwhelmed by the wasps, you have no idea how to escape it. And that's kind of like my visual that happened during that fight, where it became so overly chaotic for like this player to really gain a foothold that Team CC just could practically do anything they wanted, because like this player couldn't gain any foothold at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that this is going to be a better composition for them on the attack. I think that using this experimental barrier is going to be really helpful in order to protect the team's flank angles.
Oh.
And also you have the Symmetra. Hello?
Yeah, V's gonna quickly get the entire team onto this point with that teleporter. And surprisingly, this is working out very well. I don't think Team CC was expecting this from like this player. You have some great survivability with this dual shield composition from Bins and Minnow, and managing to hold on here. Already getting one tick, looking for the second. You've got the Primal Rage expended from Gaga to hopefully try and knock away a few members, but this Coalescence from Blue will manage to keep a lot of the team alive for like this player, and that Discord or being tossed on consistently from 1987 really can't gain any value here.
Oh, has to use the orbs for healing though for Blue Moon, so that's going to be damage that's not going to be able to be a part of the team, but that actually offers a lot of value to the rest of the teammates building up their ultimate charge.
I mean, let's take a look at this. V's right now on this Symmetra is expending so much damage, and there is such a high charge from that beam. 5 minutes and 45 seconds to carry over.
Well, turrets as well. The Symmetra turrets are able to stop the mobility from most of the members of Team CC and also chunk down damage. Like, Dia is just not able to escape. And I think that's something that's really powerful that, like, this player can take advantage of moving into this next point. Fantastic cap from them. 5.5 minutes to work with, where they've got lots of ultimates to do it, and Mizuki also has the sound barrier, so that's going to be huge, knowing that Innovation has an EMP.
Here comes another teleporter to lead into the back. V's Pulse Bomb does get one, though, anticipating that. With a Flux in return to try and help. Sound barrier by Mizuki. lasting for as long as possible here, but Super Rich onto this Brigitte, getting so much value. And at this point, because the tactic from V's with the Symmetra worked the first time, Team CC is not going to be surprised by the second.
No, and I would actually kind of see. I think that after using the photon barriers, I think V is gonna switch off. But at the same time, I think the Symmetra is actually a fantastic pick against what Team CC is running, and especially this Sombra. Like, how do you deal with the turrets? Turrets are always gonna find you out.
Oh, definitely. And with 4.5 minutes, nice Bionade actually coming out from 1987 to land on 2, Sport and Tank line. Rotating around, you've got Innovation consistently applying that pressure. Here's that Photon Barrier, like you said. We'll see if it does switch, but in the meantime, there is a self-destruct in the back end to be tucked just behind the wall. Super Rich gaining 1 onto Blue Moon, with Dia having the Pulse Bomb, hoping to get a maybe early pick here. But at this point, there's already so much damage coming out from Innovation, it's not really going to matter because the reset for Team CC is such in a good spot, picking off multiple members like this player. Here's the switch, and V's is going to go back to that 76.
I think that the 76 is going to be pretty smart here, but you also see just a kind of a full swap from the team from this rush composition to more of a dive composition. Snorlax is going to stay on the Mei here just because they have the Blizzard, but I wouldn't be too surprised to see Snorlax also switch off of the Mei after they utilize this Blizzard too. I don't know how much value the Blizzard is going to get just because of how much mobility Team CC actually has on their composition, just to be able to get away from the Blizzard.
In the back, here's the EMP going to force a huge engage for Team CC. What a collapse on that EMP. And with Snorlax, again, not being able to utilize that Blizzard, I'm curious if Snorlax is going to keep it for the time being. And yes, Snorlax will not rotate off this Mei.
I was gonna say, is it worth it? With 3 minutes left, is it gonna be worth it to try to utilize this Blizzard? There's not too many targets that this Blizzard can really focus down, especially because Team CC is playing as split as they are, and that's what this composition provides, is the firm control of the high ground. But ooh, that might be an opening. That might be the go signal for like this player.
And it has to be quick because now that Innovation's back online, there's going to be a slight delay. You've got Snorlax leading in with that wall to try and hopefully get some damage down the choke point of the stairway. Multiple members, again, heavy mobility. Snorlax is going to have a difficult time finding any sort of value with this Blizzard, but it needs to be used soon, I feel, for any sort of opportunity for switch or just, again, going to get picked off by Innovation here. That's just a bad misplay, unfortunately, on this high ground, with now Minnow getting picked off as well. Another great defensive hold by Team CC with, like, this player, and now going to switch. Snorlax has to at this point. There's no use for the Blizzard.
No, and this is what like this player is playing for. They're playing for the EMP. They're playing for that opening in order to actually make their way onto this point. But Team CC has their ultimate rotation on lock. They know exactly what to use in these next fights. And I think Innovation is the one that's giving them a lot of that information, being able to play this Sombra. And I expect also that I think Snorlax got hacked out in that last fight, so they knew the Blizzard might have been coming.
Oh, for sure. With a minute now and 30 seconds to go, you're going to have Gaga trying to go in on the dive. They know that Snorlax does not have anything close to an EMP for the time being. Gaga with the Primal getting a lot of aggression in this doorway to force back any member of this play. Now with the Tactical Visor and the Primal Rage forced out on this catwalk from like this player, Transcendence is going to come out. There is a ton committed to this with a self-destruct as well, and it's not really gaining any value.
No, there are too many members down, and like this player is wasting ultimates at the moment. Team CC is just going to continuously pick off member after member, and now they also have the stagger onto the Diva. This is definitely last fight, and what ultimates are like this player really going to be able to build up after switches right now? Blue Moon switching over to the Ana is kind of a last-ditch effort at this point, knowing the EMP is coming out. Can you just sleep it?
It's going to have to be the hope at this point. Now with the 35 seconds to go, Mizuki has a lot riding on their shoulders right now with this sound barrier.
Yeah, you have to stay out of the line of fire of this EMP. It's important and it's necessary in order to have a chance at this last fight.
With the regroup up the stairway, like this player, in their desperation for attempting to touch this point, have to try and finish this round. Sia waiting for that self-destruct to be used on the point if the remaining members of like this player drops down to compete. Innovation as well, waiting for that chance to just get multiple members with it, but there's already so much damage coming out on to that front line. Nobody can even touch here, and will be Team CC
Wow.
holding on this defensive side and claiming the win over LTP.
Believe it or not, I actually think that the Pharah might be really good here. I think we're going into Havana as our next map, and
Mhm,
Pharah ends up being a pretty dominant strategy.
mhm.
I know, there's no mercy, but I think that that actually ends up playing to like this player's strengths a lot. Um, I would like to see them at least attempt it, but I just like we've kind of seen, Team CC is just a dominant force. I don't know. I think it's still going to be
Mhm.
tough no matter what like this player runs.
Oh, definitely. It really is. It's gonna have to have LTP bring out all the stops. They
Mhm.
have to unleash everything that they've got. They have to play at the peak of their condition to really go against a team like Team CC, who has been exerting so much dominance. And we
Yeah.
were going to have on the defensive side first, like this player. And as we can already see with some of the composition, it doesn't look like there is actually going to be a Pharah selection, like you said, which is quite surprising because it can be used to such success on this first initial hold.
Might be better on the attack then. Maybe that's what they're thinking, or they're just like really putting all their eggs in this basket of the Reinhardt, the Sigma, more of this kind of rush style composition with the Sombra. I think the Sombra is just too necessary for them, just because Innovation is playing the Sombra still.
Oh, definitely. And you can already see an early hack coming out onto the Sigma, preventing that shield refresh for the time being. The Discorder quickly going on to Bins as well. So there's a lot of extra damage onto it, despite the kinetic grass to give that extra barrier and protection. With the great route around from both Dia and Innovation, even though there's an early pick onto Gaga, this is still not a complete fight win here for Like This Player. Like This Player has to really withstand this respawn advantage consistently from Team CC. And it's only a matter of time, I think, for Team CC to finally get through this frontline hold.
I don't know about that though. I think that like yes, well Team CC needs to play this a little bit slower than they would like to. I think that the way that like this player is playing so up close and personal is actually really fantastic because it's buying so much time off the clock, and that's exactly what the strategy is for.
Ooh, but now that the Reinhardt and the supports are going down, you've got the both tanks out of this fight. That's where you start to see it crumble. But again, there was a lot of good time already worn off this clock, and it allows a solid recontest here from Like This Player.
It does. It allows maybe one or even two recontests, but Team CC is actually taking a fairly aggressive hold, which means that, you know, I think that this is going to be maybe one more team fight for like this player. And V's has that EMP. Let's see if they can hit it first before Innovation does.
Hope so. That's going to be extremely important to get that EMP to come out. Here comes one. Innovation actually going to be hit by this as well, so the EMP can't come immediately after to try and even the score here. Has to translocate out. You've got Team CC going to get overrun for a slight bit here with Like Player going to reset and hopefully going to get the stagger onto Baby Diva on the back as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think that the stagger onto the Baby Diva is actually really important for like this player to continue to buy off some time. Oh, gets to be able to get back in the mech though. And this is the hack again. Oh my goodness.
I mean, when you've got a lot of focus like that coming out from Like This Player, that's going
Yeah.
to work out a lot. But all the while, you've got the payload still moving forward. The Death Blossom comes out by Snorlax into a Transcendent, so it's going to be extremely difficult for any sort of damage to take down members of Team CC. And here is Team CC now reaching this checkpoint with ease after that distraction in the back by Sia, moving into this brewing segment.
Gonna be I think a little bit difficult now for like this player to grab their bearings. I was really hoping to see these use this EMP in order to kind of seal the deal, but I think that smartly holding on to it for this second section of Havana, just in case Team CC maybe whiffs their own. We have seen Innovation a couple of times, maybe not get the most key members, especially like Mizuki that has the sound barrier ready to go. So I think that's something that Innovation's going to have to look out for in order to secure this team fight for Team CC.
You can see Innovation waiting patiently to try and find a chance to unleash that EMP. Gets actually capitalized on quickly from overhead, but does get out quick enough. V's, though, wanting to find a kill onto the Brig, can't manage to do so. And will get outmaneuvered. You've got Dia still causing a lot of harass. There is a great juggle by Gaga in the corner onto Blue Moon, finding a decent corner to just keep that support player in to shut them down. 3 minutes to work with and looking to reach this checkpoint with ease.
Yeah, 3 minutes to work with, but look at how many ultimates Team CC had to expend in order to actually win that fight. I think that's actually something that, like, this player should be very proud of in terms of their play, resetting the ultimate economy, and it also makes the switches that, like, this player made a lot better for them for this third point. Moving these over to the Soldier, we also have Mizuki going over to the Brigitte, and you still have the Sombra play. So I think the switches are going to be really good for, like, this player, but the early recontest here might make it a little bit difficult.
And you have Dia from Team CC. Even though there's a potential recontest, here comes the pulse bomb. Does get one onto V's, so preventing at least one of the DPS from getting a lot of damage onto the front line. A nice exchange, but still Dia dominating multiple times in these fights because of leading with either the pulse bomb or the fact that there is just some serious inability to stop that backline harass.
And 1987 again, these Orbs of Discord getting followed up on expertly. I think that's something that's been really helpful, and super rich as well in the backline, just really making sure that whoever is being focused down does have those armor packs. I think is just so awesome to see from coming from the support line. That's something that I think, like, this player really needs to watch out for, especially if they're going to be running this dive composition.
And you can see the Discord onto V's, gets a great follow-up. Dia once again knowing and listening to that call out with the EMP coming out from Innovation, shutting down those two tanks on the front side. Dia getting a lot of follow-through with those Discord orbs again, and Gaga just cleaning up with a Tesla cannon damage. Pulse bomb ready for anyone to come out this doorway. The checkpoint is right there, just meters away. Nobody to compete except for Snorlax, but does get taken down. The explosion knocks back the Transcendence from the Zenyatta. Pulse bomb to try and secure that pick. At this point, it is just a stagger fest from, like, this player, with Team CC, after a duration of time, most likely going to claim this, but, like this player, going to be resilient in their aggression back from their spawn.
Rally, very important here. Mizuki was able to really put this on lock, but unfortunately, that's going to be an EMP wasted.
And now with the just 0.13 meters to go, what a worthy effort by, like, this player, though, towards the end. Again, you said it yourself, Mizuki with the rally, just being able to hold on for even longer to hopefully allow that respawn advantage to come out and allow LTP to contest a little bit longer, hopefully for a opportunity to shut down Team CC. But Team CC prevails, and now going to swap sides to see if this attack from LTP is enough.
This is where I would like to see the Pharah, maybe?
Hesitation. It's hard. It's a hard position to be in for LTP right now against Team CC.
It is. I mean, like, I want to commend LTP because I think that they've overall been playing, like, pretty well. I just unfortunately think that Team CC is a cut above the rest, and I think, like, this player should be very proud of themselves for getting this far in the competition. Coming into a finals for a week in Contenders is no small feat. And especially against Team CC, I think this is just going to allow, like, this player to grow so much as a team in going into future weeks and into the playoffs. I definitely think that, like, this player has put in solid performances, but the fact that they're seeing a finals is just something to be really, really proud of.
Definitely, and as you see now on the defensive side, Team CC going to stick with something that they are confident with, and I'm really interested to see what, like, this player will choose to come out here. We've been kind of, you know, suggesting that Pharah play, but with these few seconds remaining, we'll get a clear, decisive decision from, like, this player, and they're going to go with the Tracer and Sombra of their own, but an Orisa, which I'm happy to see.
I know you're happy about seeing this, but one of the reasons why I'm happy about seeing this is because of the ability to use those pulls. I sadly not gonna get a chance to see that. Nino, please. Please. We were so excited. Rich mostly.
I know. It's okay. It's mostly just me. Dia in the back here with that Tracer, going to try and at least do something. You know, you've got that Winston rotation now coming out from Minnow. diving into the corner in this choke point could get a lot of opportunity now regrouping, but there is already 85% charge from Dia to this pulse bomb trying to compete compared to V's, but actually V's gets the advantage here, and this could give an opportunity here for this team, for LTP to push up to this next checkpoint.
Yeah, I think this is going to give them a pretty solid opportunity. Yes, okay, we wanted to see Mino play the Orisa, and there's a lot of reasons why the Orisa would have been a great choice there, but I think that ultimately this really plays to like this player's play style. I mean, look at this. V's looks in top form right now with these pulse bombs and these blinks.
Definitely taking a chapter out of Dia's book on this Tracer. The Transcendence is going to be forced out to try and survive through it. Unfortunately, V's goes down. Snorlax getting very low as well. The EMP going to be dropped by Innovation. Even though the life of Innovation is taken away, there is enough in return. Got Bins with that self-destruct, most likely going to hold onto it for the time. Actually going to force it out. Both self-destructs coming through. Neither going to gain any sort of value at the moment, with Mizuki also forcing out the rally. 2 minutes and 17 seconds. You see the cleanup now coming out from Team CC as their last few from like this player have to regroup. So many low health values, and another attempt to come out soon.
Another attempt going to come out soon for sure, but the Team CC has a pretty significant advantage based on where this cart has dropped. Look at the high ground that Gaga gets a chance to play with. Sia as well. This verticality going to present some huge opportunities for Team CC to get these dives really, really well done. So Blue Moon and Mizuki need to be very careful against this, and I actually half expect that V's needs to kind of stay in the back line as well in order to help to peel for those supports.
Snorlax leading in to get that EMP on the support line in the back. V's also able to get a pick onto 1987 with the pulse bomb, so the supports are definitely the focus there, but you still have so much work being done from TCC in the back line as well onto like this player. It's really just a backline fest. It's like who can get that Tracer around the back line first with the Sombra play because of this mere DPS lineup.
Unfortunately, while there were a lot of kills going in the way of like this player, Team CC's coming back to this point too fast.
They're regrouping so effectively, and again, when you've got a high mobility team like this, the payload is actually not too far away for Team CC now that it's moved up so close to this checkpoint.
Yeah, it's not too far away from respawn, so Team CC does have that advantage. And going into this last fight as well, Snorlax used the EMP already, which means that Innovation is free to use its EMP as long as they either force out the Transcendence early from Blue Moon, or they just get Blue Moon caught up in that Transcendence.
And with there being
EMP, sorry.
And with there being 30 seconds to go, this is the time. EMP from Innovation being held onto for those last critical seconds. There comes the translocate, most likely going to use it to enter in with the EMP. With enough members close enough, you've got a dive, though, coming in from Bins to try and capitalize onto Innovation. V's goes down, though, unfortunately. And now it's a 6 versus 5. Self-destruct overhead does get one onto Gaga to try and keep this fight somewhat in favor of TP. With now overtime commencing, you do have Innovation dealing so much damage, though. Just about to get an EMP, but it might not even matter. The self-destruct in the back onto Blue Moon's LTP, unfortunately going to fall short here with Dia and the rest of Team CC not allowing anyone to take away this third potential weak. But as I say that, an EMP comes out in return. You've got Mizuki on the front trying to stop some of this with the crowd control of the shield bass, as Gaga wants to hope and keep this from being extended any longer.
Ooh, and a nice Goomba stomp there from Gaga just to really shut down what V's is able to bring to the table, and a second one as well. I think this is all but locked up here. Team CC is coming back way too fast.
Yes, they have managed to regroup despite an opportunity that LTP had to push this last few meters, and that is going to be it. Team CC taking a third week in a row, and this time, once again, just like week one, a 3-0 score.